Hello students, today our topic is MySQL, and in this lecture we are going to discuss aggregate functions used in MySQL in detail. So there are various aggregate functions. These are count, sum, average, min, max. These are the aggregate functions used in MySQL. So basically when we talk about the aggregate functions, then aggregate functions mean where the values of multiple rows are grouped together to form a single summary value. That is the most important point, where the value of a multiple rows are grouped together to form a single summary value. So aggregate functions is a function where the multiple rows are grouped together to form a single summary value. And these are the various aggregate functions given on screen: count, sum, average, min, and max. So let us talk about one by one. First of all, count. So MySQL count function is used to return the count of an expression. So basically it count number of records and return the value. Returns the count of an expression. Okay. Second point, it allows us to count all rows or only some rows of the table that matches a specified condition. If condition is given, it will count according to that. Otherwise, it count all records. Okay, so it allows us to count all rows or only some rows, depend on the condition. If no condition is given, then all rows will be counted. Otherwise, only specified rows that matches the specified condition will be counted. Let us see it. It allows us to count all rows or only some rows of the table that matches a specified condition. Third point is, it is a type of aggregator function whose return type is big int. That is a important question regarding to MCQ, that return type of count is big int. Next is, this function returns 0 if it does not find any matching row. So basically, if no matching row is found, then it does not doesn't show an error, but it returns 0. So this function returns 0 if it does not find any matching row. Okay, so these are some points related to count function. And one thing is also very important. Count function or any aggregate function always used with select statement. Without select, these are not used individually. Let us take three different forms in which we use count expression. First of all, we just use count star. Okay, then second, count expression, and third, count distinct. So first of all, count is a function, so we just write count, and if we just write star or we just mark star within parenthesis sign, it simply means that all rows, total number of rows will be counted in that case. Okay, total number of rows. And if we want to count an expression, then we just write count expression. So number of expressions will be count in that case. And at last, count distinct. Okay, so this is also very important. Most of the time what happens that we don't want to count duplicate values. In that case we use distinct clause. So we just write count and then write distinct. Suppose if I want to count number of students in our class without any repetition, then I just write count name and count distinct and after that name. So all names will be counted, and when we just write distinct before name, here name is the name of the column, then duplicate values are not allowed. For example, if there are two students who have same name, suppose Aman, then Aman will count only a single time. Okay, so that is the use of distinct. I think it is clear to all of you. Let us take another slide. Now you can easily see here that is the explanation. Count star function. So this function uses a select statement. As I told you earlier that without select you are not able to use this function. So if you want to use this function, any aggregate function, then you must use select statement to return the count of rows in a result set, and the result set contain all null and duplicate rows. So in simple words, when we say that count star, that it includes all values, whether it is a null, whether it is not null, or whether it is a duplicate rows. So all values are counted, all rows are counted in that case. Next is count expression function. This function returns the result set without containing null rows as the result of an expression. So when we just write count expression, then it does not include null value. Null value is not included in that case when we just write an expression inside the parenthesis, or we just we just give a expression as a parameter value, as a parameter. Last is count with distinct. You can easily see here that count distinct expression. So count distinct expression function returns the count of the distinct rows without containing null values as a result of the expression. So it returns basically distinct rows. Okay, without so no duplicate values are allowed here when we use distinct expression. Now the difference is very much clear, I think for all of you. Count star basically count all rows, whether it may have null values or not null values, or whether it may be duplicate values, all values are counted in that case. But when we use count expression function, in that case only the expression will be counted, but null expression will not be considered at all. And last, count distinct expression, and when we use distinct keyword before expression, that means that no duplicate values are allowed in that case. Okay, and also no null values are also acceptable. Now let us see the syntax of it. As I told you earlier that count is always used with select statement. So first of all you have to write select after the name of the column you want to display, and count, and then as a parameter value just pass aggregate expression, then from, then table name. If there is any condition regarding to the count, then this condition should be specified just after the table name. So these are the parameters that I explained here. Count is a basically is aggregate function. So aggregate expression specifies the columns or expression whose non-null values will be counted. And the table name specifies the table from where you want to retrieve records, and there must be at least one table listed in the from clause. And last is where condition. It is optional. It specifies the condition that must be fulfilled for the records to be selected. Now, there is a small example. Consider the table employees. To understand the concept of count function, at least we should have a table. So we just take a table named employees, and that employee table contain the record as you can show on the screen. It has basically four columns, five columns are there: employee ID, employee name, employee age, city, and income. And as far as number of records are considered, then total number of records are 8, because it starts from 101, then 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, and at last 108. Okay. Now when we talk about the city column name, then you can easily see here that duplicate values are there. For example, California here repeat 2 times. Okay, Florida also 2 times. So there is a repetition when we talk about the city column name. Okay, so this is our record. Now, example number 1. Execute the following query that uses the count expression function to calculate the total number of employees' name available in the table. Note down here, total number of employees' name available in the table. So you have to do only one thing here. Write select and then count and give as a parameter value employee name, because we have to count total number of employees with or without repetition. It doesn't matter. It is not specified in questions, so we take duplicate values also. So we just write select count employee underscore name. Okay, from employees. Then as you know that there are total 8 rows, so answer is 8. Always remember that when we mention any column name, then null values are not allowed, or null values are not counted when we use count and give an expression. Okay, so total all records are there, and actually in this table when you see the column name employee, no null value is here. So basically count, aggregate functions count number of rows. Okay, so 8 rows are there, so it is our answer. Second is example 2. Execute the following statement that returns all rows from the employees table, and where clause specifies the rows whose values in the column employee underscore age is greater than 32. Okay, first of all we have to count all rows. Second thing is there is a condition, and condition says that employee age must be greater than 32. So one thing should be clear: when we want to select all rows, then star sign should be used, and star is passed as a parameter value. Okay, so we write select, then count, and then star, from, then table name, and after that where, and the condition. And condition says that employee age should be greater than 32. So we just write employee underscore age greater than 32. Okay, so you can easily see here that 5 is the answer. Now let us check the table. That is our table. So first row is not selected because age is 32. Second is also not selected. Fifth is not also not selected because age is 32 in this case. So 3 rows are not selected at all, and total 8 rows are there. So 8 minus 3, only 5 rows will be selected. Okay, so 5 will be the answer. Let us check. Okay, now 5 is the answer. So count star means all rows with duplicate values or without duplicate values, with null values or without null values, all rows are selected. And then after from employee is the name of the table, where, and then condition says that employee age must be greater than 32. So only 5 records are found who have age in which employee's age is greater than 32. So that is our answer. Now example number 3, count with distinct expression that counts the non-null and distinct rows in the column employee underscore age. For that purpose, I just write select, then count, and use the keyword distinct, and then after name of the expression, and it is the name of the column employee underscore age. So I just put employee underscore age just after the distinct keyword. It means that non-null values, it includes non-null values and distinct rows. Okay, from employees is the name of the table. Okay, so you can easily see here that I just write a select, count, distinct, employee age from employees. So answer is 4. Because in the original table you can easily see here that as far as age is concerned, so age is 32. 32 basically repeat 3 times, so it is counted only as a single value, it means 1. After that 40 again you repeat 2 times, it is also counted as a single unit. Then after 35, 2 times repetition of value 35, and then at last 45. So basically you can easily see here 4 records are there. So answer will be 4. Okay, now let us check it. You can easily see here that answer is 4. Now one of the most important condition or query regarding to count, most important query, and count used with group by clause. Okay, as I told you earlier in our previous lecture that when we use group by, then with group by there is a compulsion that always aggregate functions are used. Okay, so group by basically group the records, group the same records. So we can also use a count function with the group by clause that returns the count of the element in each group. Note out that count of the element in each group. Okay. So for example, the following statement returns the number of employees in each city. So that statement basically returns the number of employees in each city. First of all, let us check our original table. That is our original table. In this table, you can easily see that column name city. There are different number of cities, and duplicate values are there. So basically California repeat 2 times. Okay, Florida again repeat 2 times. And if you want to find out, suppose how many number of employees are there in city Florida, or if I want to find out that how many number of employees are there in a particular city, then this is done by using count function. So for that purpose, we have to write select and name of the column. Name of the columns are employee name and city. Okay, and then count star. Count star meant all values. Then from employees, employees is the name of the table, and then group by city. So we just make a group on the basis of city. That is our answer. You can easily see that in New York City there is only a single employee. In California, 2 employees are there. In Arizona, there is only a single employee. So this is our answer. Look at the answer. Okay. So basically group by clause, make a group, and here group is formed on the basis of city. So each city basically appears only a single time because it shows a group, and the count star value indicate the number of employee in that city, or that belongs to that city. I think it is clear to all of you. Okay, and always remember that when we use group by clause, then aggregate function should be used, and here aggregate function is count star. So different aggregate functions are there. Count is one of them. Others are min, max, average, sum. Okay. Now, and suppose if I want to find out the number of city in number of employees in the particular city, New York, then I'll write only one thing, and that is just after the name of the group by city, and that is where clause. So I just put where. Okay, city equal to New York. So in this case, only the employees belongs to the city New York will be counted and form a group. So only this record will be appear as the output. Okay, I think it is clear to all of you. So next is MySQL count function with having an order by clause. So if there is a condition and that condition basically relate to a group, then that condition should be specified with having clause. And it may be possible that after using the count function, we want to arrange the data in ascending or in descending order. And as we know that to arrange the data in ascending or descending order by clause is used. So first of all, one thing should be remembered that having clause must be used just after the group by if there is a condition. If there is no condition, that no need to use the having clause. And if you want to arrange the data in ascending or descending order, then order by clause is used just after that, or we can say that just last. Okay. Always remember that having clause is used only with group by. Without group by, having clause cannot be used, and having clause is used because because condition related to aggregate functions are not used with where clause, so we use having clause. So let us see this query. Execute the following statement that gives the employee name who has at least two age same and sort them based on the count result. So we just write select, these are the name of the columns. Name of the columns are employee underscore name, employee underscore age, and then count star. Star means all records, all rows will be counted. Then from employees, okay, employee is the name of the table. Then group by, so I just make a group on the basis of employee underscore age, and just after that we give a condition, and condition says that count star is greater than equal to 2. Okay, so only those records, only those employees are shown on screen where repetition or counting is found to be found to be equal or greater than equal to 2. Okay, and then after it is arranged in ascending order according to counting, because as we know that by default ascending order is there with the order by clause. So let us see its answer. That is the answer, you can easily see that. So when we use order by clause, then data is arranged in ascending order. 2 comes first, then 2, and then at last 3. Okay, and there are only 3 age group, or 3 age: 40, 35 and 32. Employees names are also there. So this is a very important point. First of all, aggregate functions are used with group by clause. You can use any aggregate function, but in this lecture we only discuss an aggregate function count. Okay, so in this lecture our discussion is basically focused about count function. Second important thing is that if there is a condition and that condition is related to a group, that must be specified with having clause, and having clause is just mentioned just after the group by clause. And at last, if you want to arrange the data in ascending order or in descending order, then order by clause should be used. Okay. And that is the answer, you can easily see on the screen. So I hope now you are able to understand the concept of count aggregate function. In our next lecture we will discuss another aggregate function. So thanks for watching this video.